Gamers, it's Kristin, and I have decided to do another 4 Looks 1 palette. It's been a little while. I was inspired by seeing Emily do her video with the 5 looks with the Sephora Bolds palette. I can't remember exactly what she called it, but I'll list that below. I was inspired to do another one of these. If this is your first 4 Looks 1 palette, first of all, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I have well over 40 of these. I honestly don't even know where I'm at. Have I done 50? I don't think so. But I'll list a playlist below. There are obviously a ton of palettes out there that I've done this with. What I do is I take a palette, I try to use it 4 days in a row so that I don't repeat colors if I'm able to not repeat colors. And it kind of depends on the palette. And I talk through the looks, show you how I applied them, and then at the end I do a review of the palette. So what I'm doing today, as you can see by the thumbnail, is the Jaclyn Hill palette. And this one we already know that I like, but I've had so many requests to do 4 Looks 1 palette with this that I'm going to go ahead and do that. The other thing I do at the end of the video is swatch all of the shades for you in case you're curious. So let's go ahead and jump into this. I am excited. It's been a really long time since I've done one of these. It's a little bit trickier than it once was with the amount of travel that I do for work, but I'm excited. I have 4 days in a row here that I can do it. So let's get going. I have put the little card up here over the thing so that I can see what the shades are. Today on my eyes, and I also try to show you what brushes I've used. So with a big fluffy brush, this is the Goss number 16 brush. I think she calls it Pooter. I don't know. These weird shade names. That is the shade that I put in my crease. And then I took Firework, which is this shade right here. I put that down in my outer third. And then I took Beam, this shade right here. And I put that in my inner third and blended that over Firework. Then I took some of Chip on the outer corner. I did that with a 217 brush by MAC and just kind of deepened things up a little bit and to add just a little bit of interest. And I kind of like how this green looks with Firework. I used Enchanted, which is this shade right here. And hopefully you're able to see that that is a green. It looks, sometimes when you look at it, it looks just like a really dark brown, but it's a very, very pretty deep green. And I think that that is everything that I have on my eyes. So let me zoom you in. Okay, so here's the look. The only liner that I did was lining my upper waterline, and I did that with the Essence black eyeliner, and it's in Black Love, I think. And then on my cheeks today, I used the MAC Mineralized Blush in New Romance. And then on my lips, oh, and actually before, I just want to say one thing as I throw this around. This palette does not have anything of a matte brow bone color. So I did use today Blanc Type by MAC on my upper corner and to clean things up on the outside. And I will continue to use that throughout this video. So again, New Romance. And then on my lips, this is one of the ones I'm trying to use up. This is the Fresh, what's it actually called? Fresh Nude, no, Fresh Sugar Nude, I don't know. It's one of these little things that twist on like this, and it's in the shade Nude. All right, so for my look number 2, I used this shade right here, which is in, let me get it right, Diva. I used that all over my lid, and I did that with a MAC 239 brush. And then on the outer corner and pulled into the crease, I first laid it down with this brush, which is a Sonia Kashuk number 206. No, that's a lie. 106, I always say that wrong. And I used Enchanted. And I know I used that yesterday. I'm trying not to, try not to reuse these colors very much. But that, I love that. I've done this eye look a bunch of times out of this, and it's just one of my favorites. I really love those greens together. Then I used MFEO right here in my crease. Of course, I used a little Blanc Type to blend up my outer corner here. Then what I did was I lined my upper lash line and I smudged that out a little bit. I used a black and I smudged it out with Enchanted just on an E21 brush. And then I took that same Enchanted on, this is the larger of the 2 crease brushes from the Essence Duo that they don't even know if they sell this anymore. But I put down my lower waterline liner and then I smudged it out with that shade. And I think that is everything. I think that's everything that I did. One thing I just want to say is this particular eye shape is a little bit different than my normal eye shape. Usually I like to keep it pretty like whoosh. you know, whatever that shade, like really straight and almost severe. And with this eye look, what I did was I really, do you guys see that? Okay, normal people would edit that out. Me, not so much. I just leave that in there for you guys to see. Okay, so my point and what I was trying to say is that I rounded this out a little bit. It's just a little bit of a different eye shape. I'm trying to kind of change things up, show you guys different looks that I do. I don't know why I love how one that's a little more severe lifts up my face a little bit and lifts up my eyes, but I don't know. I was just into a little rounded shape today, so I wanted to point that out. It's a little bit different than what I normally do. So let me go ahead and zoom you in. Okay, so here's the look. For blush today, I pulled out an oldie but a goodie. This is the Benefit Blush in Sugar Bomb. It adds a nice kind of little peachiness to it, but not too peach. And then for my lips, I used MAC Lip Liner in Subculture. Over the top of that, I have MAC Kinda Sexy. And then I wanted to add a little sheen, shine, and delightfulness, and so I used Skinny Dip by Jouer. All right, for the third look today, I'm laughing because this is like the third time I've tried to record this. It's one of those days. I went ahead and took Butter, which is this shade right here, and I put that in the crease with a really fluffy brush. I used a Sephora number 10 brush, which is just really super fluffy, and just kind of blew out that crease. And then on a MAC 239, I took the shade, actually let me just look what it's called, the Smeeks or something, I think it's called. Yes, Smeeks, which is this bronzy shade right here. And I laid that down on my lid. And again, that's with a MAC 239. It's my favorite lay down brush. And then I took a MAC 217, and with that same Meeks shade, I blended that up into the Butter shade. And that was all I did on my upper eye, aside from using some MAC Blanc Type, again, just to clean up here and then on the outer edge. And then I took a little smudge brush. This time I chose the Real Techniques Shadow Brush, which I find to be really nice for lower lash line, among other things. And I used Pool Party, the shade right here. I wanted the one that had wasn't so much in your face, and this shade right here, while matte, and I usually prefer a matte beneath my lower lash line. What is that shade called? It's called Jada. That shade applies a little darker than it shows on here when you put it on your eyes. So I went with Pool Party, which is a little, reflects the light a little bit because of the shimmer, and just applies as a little bit lighter shade. And I think that's everything for my eye. I did line my upper waterline with Moonstone Brown from Tarte. Discontinued now, but it's one of the ones I'm working through. So let me go ahead and zoom you in. Okay, so here's the look. On my cheeks today, I used the blush from The Balm in Hot Mama. And then on my lips, I have a little Jouer combo. I used their lip cream, I think these are called, in Terra, the shade. And then for the lip topper, I used the one in Stardust. Okay, for my fourth look, I really wanted to use Soda Pop. It's one of my favorite of the darker shades in the palette, and it's this shade right here. It just has a little bit of like kind of a grape soda twist to it, which is why I think she probably named it that. I don't really know. But anyway, so first I took Pooter, and I did that on a Wayne Goss number 16 brush. I laid that down in the crease, really blown out, and also pulled it in a good way on the outer third of my lid. And then I took, is it Faint? Yeah, Faint right here. And I did that on a 239 brush, and I laid that down on the inner third, and then just kind of blended again the edges to make sure that it was all seamless. And then I took a Wayne Goss number, let me just see here, 18 brush. It's very similar to a MAC 239, and I took Soda Pop on that and just put that in the outer corner, and pulled it in and blended it really well into that Pooter shade. Beneath my lower lash line, I laid, how many times can I say the word Pooter? It just is an odd word. But I took Pooter on this brush that I showed earlier, that Essence brush, and beneath my lower lash line, and then I took a push liner brush. This happens to be the Beauty Junkies Pro Flat Definer, and I put that right up at my lash line, just right up there. For liner today, I wanted to pull some of that kind of purple in, so on my upper lash line, I used this Tarte liner. It's one I've been working through, and it's a purple one. I don't know, the name is long gone because it was way up here on the sharpening, but I have that on my upper lash line smudged out, and then on my upper waterline as well. And I think that's everything, so let me zoom you in. Okay, so here's the look. So on my cheeks, and I'm not sure if you can even really tell because the colors seem, or my lights seem a little bit blown out, extra blown out today. My apologies. I used the Pretty Vulgar blush. This is the one that came in the BoxyCharm, and it's in the shade Hush. It is super pigmented, I gotta say, and I really had to blend it out. And on my lips, I have both the lip liner and the lippy stick from ColourPop in Lumiere. Okay, so the palette sells for $38. There are 35 eyeshadows in the palette, and there are 17 mattes. And again, in case for some reason you haven't seen the palette, here's another look at the palette. You can get the palette at Ulta or you can get it at Morphe. I'm assuming you can get it at Ulta in store. I'm not positive for sure though. I don't think I've ever seen it in my Ulta, but certainly online, and I'm almost positive you can get it at Ulta's in store as well. I don't know anything about Morphe stores, but one would assume if you can get it on Morphe's website, you can get it on their store, which I think they only have one. So, all right, let's go ahead and get into some swatches. I am going to swatch all of these for you, so hang on to your hats. All right, this is in Light Beam Silk Cream MFEO. So in Light Beam Silk Cream MFEO. And then this is Faint, Sissy, and Little Lady. So that's Faint, Sissy, and Little Lady. It's the top row. Creamsicle, Butter, Pooter, and Pukey. Creamsicle, Butter, Pooter, and Pukey. All right, Hunts, Firework, and Queen. There you go, Hunts, Firework, and Queen. So that's the second row. Obsessed, SBN, Hilster, and Roxanne. Obsessed, SBN, Hilster, and Roxanne. And then Jax, Buns, and Cranapple. I can tell you, I've used just about every shade in this palette more than once. For some reason, I've never put a brush into Jax, and having swatched it now, I can't wait to. Look at that, that's Jax. And then Buns, and then Cranapple. So that is the third row. Royalty, Twerk, Hustle, and Meeks. Royalty, Twerk, Hustle, and Meeks. Both of those are beautiful. And then 24/7, Chip, and Mocha. 24/7, Chip, and Mocha. Pool Party, Jada, Diva, and Enchanted. Pool Party, Jada, Diva, and Enchanted. And then Central Park, Soda Pop, and Abyss. And then Central Park, Soda Pop, and Abyss. All right, so those are the swatches. As you guys know, if you watched my 2017 Game Changers, this is one of my favorite palettes. I absolutely love this palette. She has no idea who I am. Morphe has no idea who I am. I bought it with my own money. I bought one and did a giveaway. I just really, I feel like it's a good quality palette. It has tons of shades in it. If I could shrink this up, I would travel with this. I feel like it has everything that I would need. Aside from, and this is actually a major flaw, and so I mentioned it at the beginning, to me, maybe not to the average person, but I always use some kind of a matte cream brow bone color, and there just isn't that in here, to clean up and on the outer corner and everything, and if this had that, it would probably be the perfect palette. So I use, as I said in the beginning, Mac Blanc type with every look. I don't generally do a lot of shimmer up on my brow bone. I really like to keep that at matte, and I like to use it to blend, and you guys know, you know the drill. So anyway, aside from that, this really is one of my top palettes at this point. I love this palette. So, and I think that they have put the names, there was some kind of change in the packaging maybe, now the names are on the back or something, I don't really know. I haven't seen the new packaging, but I just took the card that came with mine and I stuck it over her little message to her subscribers. Not that I have any issue with her message to her subscribers. I just wanted to see the colors of the shades so that I could refer them to you. Okay, lastly, what was on the rest of my face throughout the video, I always do this at the end. Eve Pearl, I have the top taken off of this. The Eve Pearl Moisturizing Primer. I used Bobbi Brown foundation. This is the Skin Foundation in Sand. As you can see, I'm just about out of that. Over the top of that, I used, to kind of set and add a little more coverage, I used my Burberry Trench Powder in 01, which they have sadly discontinued. And for bronzer, I used the Bare Minerals bronzer in Invisible Light Bronzer in Fair to Light. Look, you guys, I hit pan. That's kind of exciting. And I think that's everything aside from mascara. So the very first day, I don't remember which mascara I used. I'm sorry. There was one I used on the very first day that was different, and I just remember it was different. And then the rest of the days, I've used the Mary Kay Lash Intensity mascara, which I do really like, but it does tend to transfer. Just kind of an FYI. And I think that's it. I think everything else you have been told. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed me revisiting the 4 Looks 1 Palette series. If you're interested in any other ones, I will have a playlist below that you can click on and check out to your heart's delight. So again, thank you for watching. I hope you're having a great day, and in everything that you do, be beautiful. Bye.